Welcome to the Great Distraction.
Hello again, everyone. This is The Great Distraction, and today the topic of discussion is cosmetic surgery. My name is Ben, and with me today are my co-hosts Thomas.
How's it going?
And Glenn.
Hello.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. We thank you for joining us. The Great Distraction is a podcast that focuses on a vast and random range of topics, and we hope that each episode leaves you with, if nothing else, a little something to ponder. Cosmetic surgery. This is I don't really know why I came up with why I told the guys, hey, I think we should talk about cosmetic surgery. I think I was bored on the internet.
Were you thinking about getting a nose job?
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to fix this grill of mine. The dentist just wasn't doing it for me anymore.
You get some of those injections in your forehead. It makes you look like you're never smiling. Or
yeah. Oh man. Or perma-smiling.
What are those called?
Botox is
Botox,
typically
that's one. I had a friend that did that.
Yeah. Or collagen is what they used to use.
She had the Botox done, and she didn't want to tell me. And I kept thinking, man, there's something weird about her. And then when she's like, "Can I tell you something?" I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Well, I had Botox." And I was like, "Well, I just thought the top of your head was frozen solid."
It was just so puffy.
It was weird, man. And once you know it, you can't stop looking at it. Yeah.
I think it was one of those circumstances where I was just browsing the internet randomly, and I started going down the path of, wait, where does this take me? Where does this take me? And I fell upon a couple of actual organizations or entities that manage this the statistics and networks for doctors and stuff like that. I don't know why, but they this one in particular, which I went back to while I was researching for this topic, generated a whole bunch of stats as well as help and education to people for cosmetic surgery procedures, but. Kind of like I stumbled upon the Pornhub stats page, for internet porn. I was just like, "Holy crap! I can't stop. This is like too much." And then I started watching the porn. But yeah,
you went down the wormhole.
Yeah. It was just the stats, dude. It was just like it was crazy. Like these guys, they put this stuff together, and I guess I'm a nerd, and I love seeing the numbers. It's very fascinating to me to realize how influential or how
do the numbers excite you?
Yes, they do. How dominant some of these things are in society. It blows me away. So I saw this. It's the stats are from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, and if you're interested, I'll try and put the links in the show notes here on the website. But it's plasticsurgery.org. And there's all kinds of sections of that. If you've ever thought about having any procedure done, or your wife or girlfriend or friend or whatever, it seemed to me to be an excellent source of information for all kinds of stuff, as well as finding a doctor within their network. But one of the things that they did, and it reminded me of that Pornhub stats page, is they broke down by year numbers for throughout our country for all kinds of cosmetic, both surgical procedures and minimally invasive procedures. And I was just like, it was amazing. I just kept going. So I wanted to start off this deal by running through some numbers with you guys, so you can get an idea and a picture of what we
got. What's this industry look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Do I need to buy into this?
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, definitely.
Get some stocks.
Matter of fact, if you're thinking about going in the medical field, this would probably be a good area to go into, as long as you can deal with blood, guts, and mucky stuff. Cosmetic surgery is no joke, man. So the industry is $16 billion spent in 2017. All of these stats, by the way, are from 2017. 17.5 million procedures were performed. That includes surgical and invasive. I'll break down the differences there in a second. Before we go into that, though, I did want to, we were talking right before we hit the record button. Glenn had mentioned that there was a difference between cosmetic and plastic surgery. I thought that it was just nomenclature and, that we use plastic surgery in society interchangeably for cosmetic. That is not true. Cosmetic surgery is elective, was the term we liked there. That is kind of optional. It's up to, you don't have to have it.
You're going into it for you want to change your appearance. It's a vanity thing.
Yeah, in many cases, yes. Plastic surgery, however, is reconstructive to normal function or appearance. Think burn victims. Think
Cleft chin.
Yeah, think
That's a big
car
one.
accident. Yeah, cleft chin. I think car accidents or something, and they need your body gets damaged or whatever. That or breast cancer.
Yeah. You want to look normal again. Something's happened to you.
Not something cosmetic just because you don't like this blemish on your skin or something. This is plastic surgery is supposedly, from the definitions we looked up, you need it to look normal again or restore how you once looked. So just to lay that differential and nomenclature there out there, now we can be clear proceeding forward. Okay, so cosmetic surgical procedures. In 2017, there were 1.8 million of that 17.5 million were actual surgical procedures. The number one performed, I'm sure this is going to come to no surprise.
Drum roll, please.
Breast augmentation.
No way.
That made up
Blew my mind.
Yeah, I know. That made up for about 300,000 of that 1.8 million. It had a large spike of 11% from the last year, from 2016 to 2017. And interestingly, because the first thing I thought of is, well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. It didn't have a 11% increase. Breast reduction surgeries, because augmentation, I think, also encompasses reduction, had a spike of 11% from 2016 to 2017. And the first thing I thought, well, wait a minute. Is there really a whole bunch of large-breasted girls in this country that are trying to get their boobs reduced in size? Why would they do that? Well, obesity is on a steady rise as well. So I looked up the stats for that, and that is actually going to be another topic that we'll get to at a later date. But just to give you a quick number, the CDC showed that obesity is almost 30% in this country, and it has been on a steady rise up for all the years that I could pull up on the CDC's website. That's another one that's got a lot of great stats on it if you're interested. The second most popular cosmetic surgical procedure was liposuction. That one we hear about a lot, and that's at 246 K of that 1.8 million. Following those is about the same, which kind of surprised me too. There's rhinoplasty, which is nose reshaping at 219,000. Like this one I couldn't even do. Blepharoplasty, which is eyelid surgery, and that one I thought was kind of odd. Yeah, I was like, at first I was like, eyelid surgery? What the heck is that? And that's at 209,000. Eyelid surgery is, I don't know, I guess guys can do this too, but I think pretty much all of these cosmetic surgeries are for women by the most part. We'll get into a breakdown I've got down here at the bottom here. But removal of bags under your eyes or loose or saggy lids or wrinkles around the eyes, those are all considered eyelid surgeries apparently. So I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Apparently a lot of those happen. And then the last one for the top 5 is the abdominoplasty, which is the famous tummy tuck. And that was at 130K in 2017. And that has, they were saying that one has actually seen kind of a resurgence. It's kind of coming back, I guess, in popularity. And then they went into the top 5 for the minimally invasive procedures, which makes up the remainder of that 17.5 million at 15.7 million. And the biggest of those was botulinum. Oh, geez. Botulinum toxin.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, Botox. That's the real
okay.
word for Botox. They're like, man, that's a weird name. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but that's 7.2 million. Half of all the invasive procedures done is Botox, and typically it's to lift the areas of the face and remove wrinkles. Dermal fillers is the second one, which they also call soft tissue fillers at 2.7 million. Soften facial creases and wrinkles and plump up lips. That's what they use them for, I guess. Chemical peels, 1.4 million, sorry. Removes damaged outer layers of skin, acne scars, irregular pigmentation, sun damage. Removes some other different types of scars, I guess lighter ones, nothing too deep. And then the next one is laser hair removal at 1.1 million, which is very popular. I mean, a lot of people do that one.
Don't like to wax.
Yeah. And oddly enough, that doesn't. I have a little, not for myself, but girls I've dated over the years who have gone in to do that, and that does not actually work for everyone. It even after you do multiple treatments, even after you follow the doctor's orders and all that other stuff, it actually doesn't work for everyone. So it can. potentially you can go in there and drop thousands of dollars, and you will still have hair growing. So
Still be fuzzy.
yeah, you'll still be fuzzy. So yeah, if you or your girl are thinking about doing that, I'd say have a very small area done, like your armpits or something. Is a great place to start, and then see if it actually holds for you, because you can dump a lot of money into that, get all your legs done or whatever the hell you want done, and find that you're still growing hair after all that money. And those people, like, it's pulling teeth to get any money out of them because they want to. Oh, we didn't guarantee it would work or whatever. And the last one is microdermabrasion. It's $740K. I did not know what the heck this is. Microdermabrasion. It's a gentle sanding of the skin with some sort of special equipment that allows you to sand the skin. So you don't like that mole on there, just buff it off.
Well, you've seen. I don't know if you've seen, but I've had friends that were girls that come back and their face is like really red.
Is that what that's from?
That's one of the procedures that does that.
So,
and basically, it's just you're trying to clean your pores and all this kind of thing. So it's kind of like they go in and they kind of like. There's a couple of different ones. There's a peel that I always forget.
The chemical peel, yeah,
the chemical peel.
That's what I was talking about. So,
and then that dermal abrasion thing. But it blows me away. I've seen people right after they get out of it, and I'm like, your face looks horrible. I mean, that's better?
Like you dragged it on the floor or
yeah,
something?
but apparently it's scraping off the dead skin
Well,
and cleaning the cells.
That's
and
what
all that stuff.
that's what they said in the description. Exfoliates the skin, removes age spots, and improve or repair pigmentation.
Yeah.
I mean, these are sanctioned by some important entity, medical entity, that to be safe procedures. But holy crap, that one sounded like. And then the chemical peel. I don't know what chemical are you using on that. That sounds
that stuff just kind of freaks me out. I mean, I get it. I
does.
understand what they're doing because you have a lot of dead skin and stuff. And
well, exfoliating is one thing.
yeah.
I mean, you can do that yourself at home by
It's called shower.
Yeah, well,
right.
Well,
I always tell people who have problems with skin, because of makeup and things like that. I'm like, well, I can't help you with that because I don't use any makeup. But maybe you should just wash your face with like a Dove soap.
Yeah,
instead of 75
some of that's
chemicals
use a
you find
loofah
at
or
Target.
So, some of that stuff that they put on, especially girls with makeup and stuff. Some of that stuff is very difficult to get off, and then if they're not, it can clog pores.
But it seems like some of the chemicals that they use, because I mean, watching girlfriends take makeup off, I'm like,
yeah,
it seems like you're just rubbing another chemical on your face. I mean,
yeah, unless and they don't want, you don't want to use like rubbing alcohol because it's too harsh, and there's like a very delicate balance of applying to removing and then all the care in between, especially if they have fair skin, because it's very delicate stuff. And like if you want to keep it nice and soft, it's hella work.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the weird one here, but
Yes, you are.
okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Woohoo! But why not just not wear makeup? I never understood the point. It's never like when I see a girl that's all painted up, it's not a turn on.
So you see more of a clown than you see.
Oh, totally.
So here's the thing.
I see somebody that's afraid of their own face.
You're tapping into something that's probably a larger topic and
a
delves
deeper psyche.
Yeah, definitely delves into some psychology. However, I can tell you this about that because I have thought a bit about this myself. Right? There's an old adage that used to be a standard. I mean, when our grandparents were growing up, or maybe when our parents were growing up. I don't know how far back we got to go. But the idea behind makeup was if you're going to wear it, make it look like you're not wearing any. And some people grew up and then raised daughters who grew up and then raised daughters who did not pass that old adage down. So you get exemplified, makeup. But I think you're right, is it does get to the point where, and then whatever society makes us feel or us think is normal, people will follow those trends too. And I don't know. I guess to each their own. Beauty,
I don't know, man.
Ultimately, though, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's true.
So I mean, my father used to have a saying about he was when I was young, he sold cars, and it was he worked in new dealerships, but they take in used cars too, right? And the guys in the lot somebody would take a trade in or something, and it would be some just complete jalopy, right? And they're like, who the hell would buy that thing? Why the hell do we take it in trade? We're never going to sell it. There's a simple concept that applies to a lot of things in life. There is an ass for every seat. Everybody who looks any single way is beautiful to somebody else, or at least mildly attractive or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. Some girls are all painted up or whatever, and they, to us they look ridiculous, or maybe they don't. I don't know.
Well, obviously you haven't seen, and because I know you don't really keep up on Facebook, but there's a video going around now, and these girls, and I think they're from the Philippines or something, and they're like have these really weird skinny faces, and they show them with all their makeup on. You're like, wow, she's really cute, and they slowly start peeling off all the makeup, and it's not just makeup anymore. They've like got these. It's almost like tape that they use on the side of their face to pull and tighten things up. Well, they peel this off and peel it off, and by the time you get done, you're like, I mean, it's such a drastic, almost scary change. And I think, as far as women are concerned, women have always, especially in the modern era, have had to deal with, being pretty. That's a giant, bigger topic that we could tap into. But, being in the arts and stuff, I'm okay with women wearing makeup. And I know a lot of women who wear a little bit of eyeliner here, a little bit of this there, maybe a little bit of lipstick here or there. I'm fine with that. And I even like it when, some girls might do something kind of cool or fun with their eyes because they're just having fun. It's a way for them to express themselves.
Play, I totally get it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And coming back or from a performance background, stage lighting,
absolutely,
there's absolute use for that. I mean, accentuate shadows, portray expression over a larger crowd.
Yeah, I wore minor makeup for 6 months one time when we were filming a show in L.A. and all it was like a dusting powder,
talc
so
powder,
that my face
yeah.
wouldn't glare. There wouldn't be a shiny glare off my forehead or my cheeks or something.
Yeah. I'm not saying that makeup is bad across the board.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you on this whole thing.
All things in moderation.
I mean, I've known women that they literally say I have to put my face on.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
my grandma says that.
It's
right.
It
just reminds me of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the leather face that gets cut off.
Exactly.
Slap it on real quick. Pretty soon they're just going to have a mask that you put on and that'll be your new face, or you just hit a computer button and it shows an image. You'll walk around with a hologram on your face instead of makeup or something.
Well, that question is applicable to this entire topic too.
Absolutely.
And we're definitely going to cover some of that here after we get done with these stats here I've got. But why do you? There's a million reasons this way and that way, right? But I think it all comes down to what individuals think is attractive.
Well, I think too. Well, I think so too. With women in makeup, I can take it to this direction. You've heard understand. You've heard the phrase peacocking.
Oh yeah,
you know what that means, right?
In our species, they have the tail feathers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I feel like when women are wearing a lot of makeup, and you can have this conversation with any woman, and she'll give you the same answer. Women don't go out of their way to look good for men. It's a competition amongst other women. It absolutely is, and I've known dozens of women in all kinds of different fields, especially in the entertainment world, and they'll talk about it over and over. And women don't get all dressed up and pretty.
Go to the supermarket for guys, because they don't like being picked up there anyway.
And it isn't even necessary for guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
It's a competition between each other, and it goes back to like I was saying about the whole, about that whole peacocking kind of an attitude. I mean, men do it in certain ways, boasting or trying to look, all tough and ripped and all that stuff. Well, each side of our species has some sort of peacocking that they use, and I feel like to a lot of women that's their version of that with the makeup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Competition.
Absolutely. So, with respect to cosmetic surgery, though, it's not all women.
Absolutely not.
It is a growing number of men who are having procedures done.
I need some bicep implants.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we got to get to that. We'll get to that.
I'm gonna give me a 6-pack.
Yeah, we'll get to that guy. So roughly 7%, 1.3 million of the procedures done in 2017. It doesn't sound like much, but it's growing.
That's a lot.
We're guys. And
we're getting vainer.
Yeah.
Or vannier. What would the
phrase
be? Dumber.
I think well, it's becoming more socially acceptable for guys to do stuff. And from what I read, most of those were the minimally invasive procedures. Things like the chemical pills or the microdermabrasion or laser hair removal or stuff like that. I don't think too many that I found, but I do know that there are some out there. Some people have gotten famous. Some guys have gotten famous off it, but most of them are not having liposuction or eyelid surgery done, stuff like that. Those are typically.
What about follicle implants?
Is that considered a cosmetic surgery? I didn't even see that come up. Most of the stuff that I found was all catered toward, because those are the bigger numbers, are with the women, but with females. But that's got to be considered a cosmetic surgery. It's a medical procedure. It might be a minimally invasive procedure, but I didn't even see.
So what all would that entail then exactly?
To try and cure baldness,
right?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
follicles implanted in your.
Well, that's what I mean. As a
surgery,
they're trying to implant a follicle into your. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Look at my head. I don't know much about that.
Right. Thomas has lots of hair. For those that don't know. That's got to be. I would consider that a cosmetic surgery for men, but like I said, they didn't bring that up at all. I don't know why. There were a few others here that I found really interesting. They had this. So this same entity, American Society of Plastic Surgeons, generated this PDF file for. It looks like they do it every year, but they showed changes in percentages from 2000, and I really liked that they went around that date because. Thomas had brought up that he was reading about TV shows that had affected this. So along the lines of why are people doing this, in some of these reality TV shows like Nip Tuck, Dr. 90210, The Swan, Extreme Makeover, those all started in early 2000s. So it was really interesting to see these stats. It kind of coincides. Some of these procedures, well, several of these procedures weren't even available back then or came about back then. And it was cool that they generated these stats in percentages, rises or increases or decreases from 2000 to 2017. And some of them I thought were kind of notable. From, again, all this is from 2017 or 2000 to 2017. Breast augmentation is up 41%. Breast lifts are up 99%. Breast reduction in men. I thought this was great, man. Breast reduction in men is up 32%.
Gotta trim those man boobs.
That's it.
Right.
So just for some numbers in that, in 2017, 26,000, almost 27,000 men had breast reduction. Now, bear in mind these stats. These are only for doctors that are registered with the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, which I would think anybody would be. It seems to be the biggest entity. But so this isn't, if you go to, your doctor down the street and have your procedures done, who knows? But,
I wonder how much of this correlates with straight up vanity or perception of image, and how much with these increased percentages correlates to the amount of estrogen that we are intaking as a culture these days. Because
I didn't think of that. You're talking about for the breast
that's
reduction.
all
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
And that goes back into our foods and everything.
absolutely.
Yeah, I was reading about that with soy. So I'm
Yes.
actually
Soy is-
allergic to milk. I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm allergic to a protein in milk, so I don't drink like any dairy products or. For some reason, I can eat cheese because something's been done with different. Anyway, I can't eat ice cream, whatever. So years ago, and that's been this way for, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years, something like that. I started just drinking soy stuff. Well, when I started looking into it, no, I didn't start growing boobs, so don't even fucking.
Soy's not very
don't
good
go
for
down.
you, to be honest. It's
I mean,
not
yeah.
great.
So there's other options now. There's cashew milk.
I
there's
drink almond milk.
Yeah, and I may be switching over to that. But anyway, yeah, when I was reading into soy and tofu and everything, all the other soy products, it increases estrogen production in males. And I was like, whoa, dude. Like, okay, I'm just trying to get in touch with my feminine side,
Yeah, soy's pretty gnarly for both men and females because men and women. Because it increases estrogen production in men, which is decreases your testosterone level, which
is not good.
allows you build more fat. You're less active. All sorts of nastiness in your body.
Yeah.
It's also an artificial. Well, it's not an estrogen that the females can use either. So it inhibits natural estrogen production also.
I didn't know there were different kinds of estrogen.
There are.
Oh my goodness. Are there different kinds of testosterone?
I do not know.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I want to look more into that. That's definitely something I'll research. I'm going to research a little more considering that I'm consuming that crap. Let's see. Buttocks implants are actually down. This was weird. These didn't exist back apparently from these stats. Weren't around in 2000. They are down 56% from 2016 to 2017 in 1 year. They reduced by half. I don't know.
Was there a music video that was popular or something?
Well, actually, since they went down, maybe it was something came out that made it unpopular. I don't know what. So maybe J-Lo got unfamous and people are Kardashian got unfamous. People are like, we don't want butt implants anymore. However, all of those models that are coming out,
Getting away from that ghetto booty.
Yeah, but they're pushing it with all the models. The ones from Colombia and all those girls have enhanced butts, and that's. I figured that was going up, but apparently not here anyway. Maybe not in this country. Maybe the other countries where they're pumping the models in from outside.
We'll see what next year brings.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Buttocks lifts, however, up 254% from 2000.
You got a saggy butt.
Well, or flat butt.
Flat butt.
You can put the lift or whatever, try and bring it up. This one I thought was really bizarre, and it looks like it's fairly new, and it wasn't really the percentage that weirded me out, but the what it was. Calf augmentation.
Oh, dude, that's a thing.
This is the first thing. What is wrong with girls' calves? Or guys' calves maybe too. Like what? I don't understand. So they're Botox injecting, putting Botox injections into their calves to increase the size? Like I never.
Yeah,
thought.
it affects the shape of the leg. There are some people that look. I mean, their legs end up being conical almost in shape. Whether they have like water retention, like an anemia, where it just kind of gathers around the leg and you don't see much definition or change.
Weird.
They'll do injection to make the calf look bigger to get the shape they want.
Instead of working out and exercising.
Right.
A lot of these are-
And
That's a big
in
goal.
improving your
a lot of
blood
stuff.
flow. And,
Right.
A lot of these cosmetic surgeries are in place of just take care of yourself, work out, and exercise, and you'd probably get exactly what you're looking for
Right,
anyway.
right.
Especially when we go into the liposuction stuff. It's just like, oh man, come on. I mean, what is that other than you could just lose it if you?
Well, I
worked
mean,
it
there are
off?
some people who just can't lose weight. I mean, I have several friends who've
So
done
if
all
you
kinds of
can't
stuff
lose
and
weight
just can't lose
and
weight.
you use liposuction to remove it, what's going to happen? It's
gonna
going to come
come back.
back. I mean, it's just like people who have what's the stomach procedure called? The
tummy
gastric
tuck?
gastric
Oh, yeah,
bypass.
yeah.
I know a couple people that I've worked with over the years who have had it done and they gained all the weight back. And it's like because they can't change their eating habits and because it's just like, I don't know, their genetics. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they'll lose a lot of weight at first after the surgery, and then after 5-10 years or whatever, they're right back where they started from. So,
Well, I've known a couple people who've done that and they've stayed.
oh really?
thin, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they were both women.
How heavily overweight were they?
A buddy of mine's wife did it. I want to say 10 years ago or something like that. And she wasn't really large, but she was thick, and she was unhappy because she was a pretty active person, and she was starting to put on weight and couldn't figure out why. And I think it was genetic. Some people, I mean, back to genetics, sometimes think. So she had it done, and she was probably at that point about 100 pounds overweight.
I'm talking like 400 pounds,
yeah,
like
yeah.
barely walking type
Yeah.
people. The people I used to work, the two guys I worked with that had it done, like, or
Yeah.
three guys. If I
And then the other woman I know who did it, she's also a woman I know through some different friends that own different businesses, but she was probably about 2 to 250 overweight.
okay, wow.
She was probably close to 300 pounds, and she was only like 5'6" or something.
And both of them held it off, huh?
Both of them held off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And my buddy whose wife did it, the first one, it was a long time ago. I mean, it was definitely at least 10, 12 years ago.
Okay, and that's good. Let's see. Lip augmentation is up 60%. Lip reduction, lip reduction is down 70%. People don't reduce the size of their lips anymore.
Well, they're spending all that money to get it big. Why do they want to get it small?
That's a good point. This one was interesting. I don't know what this is, so I couldn't. I tried. If any of you guys know, whatever, then you'll know what this is talking about. But lower body lift is up 4,284% from 2000.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean to have a
Lower
lower
body
body lift? I don't get that. I don't know what that means.
Because
Is that if your stomach hangs really low and you're like?
well, you've
lift?
seen people that have the butt in the front. You know, they call that.
The bumper, the
Yeah.
big bumper.
Everybody has a new name for it.
Yeah.
But you know, where they're where from about basically where the crease of your legs go immediately. Because some people just get a belly. Like most guys just get a gut.
Yeah.
So it's above the belt line. There's a gut and it hangs down,
Yeah.
hangs over. But some people get it a lot lower than that. But it could be in thighs and buttocks as well, I guess.
Interesting. So maybe that's like
Hips.
a complete package deal or whatever, where they do they do multiple procedures on the lower body lift. Whatever it is had.
Now, could that just mean there are that number of new procedures and the procedure didn't exist in 2000? Because
So-
that's a huge percentage.
You're right.
Right,
and,
it
and
is.
so the ones that didn't exist back then,
I'm gonna Google it, bro.
Do it, yeah. All right, bro. They don't even. They just leave it starred, so they don't even put a value there. So I'm assuming, based on this chart here, that it did exist back then. But that's a very, very valid question. Thigh lift is up 82%. Tummy tuck up 107%. Upper arm lift up 5,235%. That's a huge one right now, especially with elderly women. They start getting the arm sag. They kind of.
You get the grandma arms.
Yeah, the what do they call the bat wings? They that's fucked up. Anyway, so that's a real big one because a lot of people are doing that.
Oh, interesting.
What do you got?
So that lower body thing.
Yeah.
So here, I'll just pass it over to you.
What is it?
We're Googling it, bro. So basically, it seems like it's for people who are extremely overweight and they have, lose weight and have saggy skin, things like that. That's what I was
Sagging skin in areas below the waistline, lower
Yeah.
body lift surgery, tightens and sculpts the buttocks, back of thighs, outer thighs, inner thighs, hips, and abdomen. Wow, it's a complete package.
complete package.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that somebody's body can handle the stress to do all of that, and I guess you could come
Well,
out looking.
I guess that's something to be determined.
Yeah, before in your consultations or whatever. Botox up 819%. Yeah, that's a big one. That one was one of the biggest procedures. Well, we had mentioned that earlier of all the procedures.
Have they identified all the medical complications that can come along with Botox or side effects of that crap?
I don't know. From in matter of fact, they have 3 different companies that make a product similar to that listed here because they want to include all the just Botox, right? And I don't know. I've always kind of, from what I've mildly read on it, it's like that's acceptable now until they find something really bad that they're willing to admit, and then remove it from the market.
Until they get sued to admit.
Which I think that I thought it was in here, collagen injections. People used to get collagen injections, right? Collagen is down 100% from 2000. And very low numbers here from what they listed.
What was the one that was causing neuropathy?
I don't know.
One of those injections was...
I don't know. Maybe it was collagen. I don't know.
I think it was, well...
Yeah, I can't remember what the problem was with collagen, but apparently people are still doing it. I just, yeah. Cellulite treatment, up 55%. And we can imagine, that I didn't even know there was a specific cellulite treatment. I thought it was a laser treatment, but apparently not. Laser skin resurfacing, up 244%. And the last one, the soft tissue fillers that we were talking about earlier, that's up 312%. So, yeah, that was just some random stuff there that I thought was kind of interesting. Going back to the reconstructive plastic surgery stats, which actually more confirmation, they said, reconstructive plastic surgery. So there you go. Plastic surgery is for reconstruction. The number one that they had listed here was dog bite repair. And that's actually down 35% from 2017.
So less people are getting bitten?
I guess. I mean, it says in 2000 it was 43,000. In 2017 it was 27,000. So
we should research and see if the amount of dog leashes and collar sales have gone up.
Or dog population has gone down. I mean, one or the other. And then also breast reconstruction. And I believe that would be like from cancer patients and stuff. That's up 35% since 2000, which would make sense because I think breast cancer has risen too over the last 20 years. So, I mean, that would make sense that one would go up to handle all those poor ladies that have to go through that crap.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I personally have my mom had breast cancer twice in her life, and this last time, the second time was on the same side, and it was highly suggested by all the doctors involved that she had a total removal. And my mom's 70, but everybody, nobody wants to look odd or weird. And I think when it comes to those sort of surgeries and procedures, just like we talked before about plastic surgery, the main reason for plastic surgery is to help people look normal again and to feel normal again. And I guess as far as like cosmetic surgeries, I mean, you're talking about a whole nother dichotomy of philosophy about how people feel, their self-wealth, their vanity, I mean, all these other things. But I think in the plastic surgery world, there's so many things, cleft chin for children, people who have burned victims, maybe lost a limb or been in a major accident or something. And there's an amazing amount of procedures that are going on now to help people look normal again that I'm totally with. I mean, I think it's awesome. And I think we've, I don't know if you ever see all this was going a while back. They were trying to grow an ear on a mouse.
And 3D print one. Yeah.
Wow. Because people, burn victims a lot of times will lose soft tissue like an ear.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The what was I trying to say? 3D printing with cells to rebuild body parts is definitely and as well as organs. Only the simplest of them right now have been done. But I've seen the ear one being done.
You ever saw the one with the mouse and he had the ear on?
No, was that real though?
Was
I think somebody told me about that,
but it was a neat picture.
I can't wait till we can grow body parts.
Right,
that will be amazing. Yeah, I'll just first thing I'm doing is having a new liver printed for myself.
I think that'd probably be the number one there: livers and breasts and penises.
Man,
I'm gonna 3D print me a giant Johnny Holmes penis.
Wow, that probably would go down
could see
too.
that
Can
being
you
a
imagine
thing.
all the dudes that are unhappy with the size? There's no longer is it just girls who can get bigger boobs. We can all get 10-inch dicks.
I worry about the nerve connectivity there. That scares me a bit.
Pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah, but that'll be Star Trek time, and we'll just have a little little laser that just go.
That literally
hook it all
means
together.
that you have to have your dick cut off in order to put a
Right.
that concept.
Maybe it's just like something that slips onto it.
and what takes it over.
Yeah, right.
It just like overcomes it.
You ever hear the song "Detachable Penis"?
No.
That was pretty popular in the '90s. You remember that one, Glenn?
I do.
Wow.
We'll have to introduce you to that one.
That's all. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't it run away or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a punk rock band that I used to be into years and years ago, and I can't remember exactly the name of the band. It was a really obscure band, but they had this a song called Hitler's Cock, and they said they saved Hitler's cock, and it was a whole story about them saving his cock, and they put it in a box and did all those things, and then it escaped and went out and tried to kill people.
What the hell, dude? That makes me think of any of you guys out there watch Big Mouth. The hormone monster keeps dicks in his briefcase.
He hits people with them.
He throws them at people, does all kinds. They're these little dicks that are like pets, right? And they like talk to him, and they're all covered in fur.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think I watched like 3 episodes of that last night.
oh man, season 2 just came out. Like,
It's really good.
Yes, I love it, dude. It is
I think
crazy.
season 2 is way better than season 1.
It's definitely crazier. Definitely crazy. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked that one out, I mean, dude, that's man, it's a whole show about adolescence, and it's like, yeah, a lot of it rings true. A lot of truth said in jest.
A lot of self-identity issues
Oh
going
man,
on
it's
there.
just ridiculous. The awkward nature of it and hormones and all that crap. But so let's get into some of the reasons why people do this, because that was ultimately what led me.
Because I want to be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to start off with that. We'll go back to the TV shows thing we were talking about. So one of the ones in the list there, Tom, tell us about the Swan. What were you reading about the Swan?
So in 2004, I was actually in production on a reality TV show. So I was getting sort of a large education about the TV
reality
industry,
of reality
the
TV.
reality of reality TV shows, because I was filming on. So about that time, so about 2002 to about 2006 or 7 was really the beginning of the roots of what we now consider reality television. So they tried a lot of crazy things that probably weren't so politically correct. They were just trying to make money, crazy shows. But the one that always stood out to me was the Swan, and the premise of the Swan. And I don't really remember it a lot because I didn't watch it, but just reading a few things about it. And I do remember a couple episodes. It was almost like they were pitting two quote unquote ugly people against each other in competitions, and the person who won plastic surgery, so they could be quote unquote not ugly. So just think about the reality television world, and think about what we do to each other socially and through all these other things about vanity and now you have a show that's pitting two people that are considered by who knows who to be ugly or unattractive, who now have to compete and battle ugly against ugly, and that's how they sell these things. So it opens up the doors to a lot of other weird possibilities of reality TV, game shows, all kinds of things that are based on our desire to feel good, look better, fit in, whatever.
And like the rest of reality TV shows, it desensitizes the population to how people actually should treat each other.
And it's and one of the things that I found in correlation with that was doing a little bit of research is that on average at current time, and this was a survey that I guess was from 2016 or 17, first time patients of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery, I should say, they said almost 80% of them admitted that the reason they were having the first time cosmetic surgery, they were influenced by reality television.
Oh, jeez. I believe that.
That's a sad state of affairs.
And that was my first category was society, pressure from media or peers or both, right? I mean, where do people get these ideas in their head from somewhere? If you if you never saw a mirror, you wouldn't worry too much about how you looked.
I try not to look at mirrors.
Yeah, well,
on
there
purpose.
you go. But I
know I'm not attractive, I don't need to be reminded.
Yeah. If they didn't exist, think about it. I mean, maybe you'd go tell your buddy, hey, dude, you're bleeding. Oh, damn, I didn't even know I was bleeding there. Thanks, man.
Got some stuff in your teeth.
Yeah, or
get some stuff in your beard.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you wouldn't pick yourself apart as much as we do, and like a lot of other things, you don't even know it's a problem until somebody makes
Points
it
it
a
out.
problem,
Yeah.
or you see something where somebody else is making it a problem. Then all of a sudden you're like, damn, dude, man, maybe my hair doesn't sit right, or maybe my ear is bigger than the other.
Well, I mean, I think all of us, no matter if we're vain or not, we can all look at ourselves and find something we don't like. And
but I mean, I think
the more
this
time
stuff
you spend
helps
doing
the vein,
that, well, it does. But I mean, living in LA, I've had several friends who are famous actors or musicians or something that could afford to do procedures. I had a buddy who was a fairly famous musician who wanted to do a couple cosmetic surgeries, and he had talked to me about it. And I was like, and when he told me one of them that he wanted to do, I was just like, I don't even understand what you're talking about, And he had been for years unhappy with his ears, his earlobes in particular. And I looked at him and I thought, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's all you. It's what you feel, yourself, self-confidence, self-worth. So if you're sitting there picking yourself out, I mean, I know girls who look amazing that look in the mirror and go, oh, my butt's too this, my this is too this, or this too that. And you're like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
But they've got some other friend who has something that's perfect and theirs not perfect, so they compare it to that.
Yep.
So instead of being happy with who you are, you're comparing yourself to other people. I think that's really a root of a lot of this. But going back to my buddy in the earlobe thing, he had a procedure where they went into his earlobes, and he had two earlobes that were opposite sizes. And I found out later, and it's funny you mentioned it, when he was young, he was bitten by a dog.
Oh.
And one of his earlobes had a weird it was just oddly different because of the way it scarred.
Oh, wow.
So they went in and did this procedure, and I have no idea what it's called, where they cut the ear almost like a star. So they open it up, and they can make it smaller, and they made both of his earlobes the exact same size,
I'll be
and that
damned.
healed. And now when I look at him, I think, gosh, your earlobes are tiny.
Oh, that poor guy, dude.
I never said that to him, but
Now they're tiny. That's yo, man.
So-
That's irony for you.
yeah,
It comes down in my mind to insecurity.
absolutely. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I guess you could.
But when I
break it
was
down to
growing
that,
up,
yeah.
when I was growing up in a guy in the Midwest, you know, you got hurt, you got a scar, that made you cool.
That's as a guy, though.
I know.
Remember,
But I'm just saying in the
something
guys thing, as far as
90%
like
of these things,
guys.
93% from what I read here is all female. So.
Well, I know, but as far as like guys getting
Yeah.
procedures to be all perfect and model-esque or whatever, I'm like, I don't know. I think the roughness and the imperfections of you make you you.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a big nose. I'm part Italian. I just
So I'm gonna
roll
play,
with it. You
I'm
know
going
what
to
I'm
play
saying?
devil's advocate here, though, too. If you begin surgically altering yourself, does that not also make you you?
Well, you are always you.
Yeah. So I mean, but if you are seeking individuality by your, individual aspects in how you look, is not altering yourself to look a different way the exact same thing? I mean, take into account tattoos.
Sure. Any sort of body mod.
Yeah, tattoos are a cosmetic surgery.
That's
It's a
true.
what do I call it? The minimally invasive procedure.
That's true.
And it's like, and some people look at their skin and they're like, my skin is ugly. So I'm going to take the step back on this. I do not find usually tattoos very beautiful. I don't find them attractive. They can be cool, that's for sure. But I have never like looked at a girl and like, wow, like thought one with a whole bunch of tattoos looked better than one without. I think regular skin, bare, is more attractive. It's prettier, right? It's like natural and whatever. But is that not also the same thing as a cosmetic surgery? Because those people are looking at their skin and think it's plain or
Yeah, right.
boring, or I don't know what they think. So they want to put
yeah. I
ink
mean,
on it.
anything that you do to alter your appearance is in some way, shape, or form. I guess for the majority, you could say a vanity thing. You know, I have a lot of tattoos. I didn't get tattoos because I wanted it to look a certain way. I just really like tattoos. I'm into art. I like the
Yeah.
procedure. And when I first started getting tattooed, being tattooed set you aside from the general population. You know, if you had a bunch of tattoos in the late 80s, early 90s, you were a little bit of you were a real misfit. You know, you were definitely.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to attack tattoos.
No, not at all. But I'm saying it does fall in that category.
Sure.
I absolutely feel
There's
like
always
it
going to
does.
be a societal stigma behind all different types of stuff. But my point was to play off of what Glenn had started with, as far as the insecurity of people that could be it definitely could be a motivation. But what if you're a girl that just likes big boobs, and guys like big boobs, and you're like, or the guy you're with likes big boobs? How is that? It could be an insecurity thing. Maybe she has really small boobs and she's always felt bad about it. But maybe she has like B or C's cups and they're like not small and they're okay. But at the same time, she wants double D's. How is that? How it can be the same thing in my mind as I want 5 piercings in my ear, or I want
totally
my tongue
believe
pierced.
it's the same thing.
And so yeah, I believe that there's the insecurity part as well. But it's interesting that society does look at those two things as differently, because a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, she's got fake boobs," like it's a negative connotation on it, right? But these days, tattoos are becoming way more acceptable in society. So
Way
people
more.
aren't saying, "Oh, that motherfucker's dirty." He's got
Yeah.
tattoos all over himself.
He's been in prison.
Now, people are like, that's beautiful art, and especially, well, of course, prison tattoos do look different than art
Absolutely.
tattoos, but nevertheless, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it used to be all tattoos were prison or dirty or bad
yeah.
or whatever. That's not the case anymore. I know very classy people like you too. Anyway, but that's what I wonder is it why does society split these cosmetic procedures into these ones are more socially acceptable than others, or these ones, oh, that person has some sort of problem, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what?
I don't know. That delves into human psychology.
Yeah, a lot of culture, but it's always frustrated me, especially growing up. I was teased because I liked some cosmetic surgeries on girls or whatever. It wasn't too ridiculous or whatever, and it's okay, fine. If it looks ridiculous and she looks like fake, like a clown or something, well, that's a different story. But some things I think can be enhancing.
But yeah, my personal opinion is, I'm not big on tattoos. I don't have any. I don't particularly find them attractive. I've seen some that are freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, big time.
They look amazing.
Yep.
But as far as like on a girl, I don't particularly find them attractive. I don't care much for piercings. I don't like.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm very much natural beauty. If
So that's why.
But there are a lot of people who do look at it on totally the other
Absolutely.
scale.
Absolutely.
And as it's becoming more and more popular, and you were talking about why is one procedure considered taboo where one procedure is like completely
or looked down upon or something like that.
So I mean, if you look at breast implants, when breast implants first started, that was a very negative thing.
Big time.
I remember when I turned 21, I didn't really know a lot of women who had fake breasts back then, and I remember going to a strip club for my 21st birthday because that's what people drag you to, and this girl had these giant fake boobs, and I was horrified by them. I just thought they were terrible.
Well, especially back in the early days, they looked bad.
And they looked really bad. And I remember somebody paid for this girl to come over here and shove her giant fake boobs, and she made me touch them, and I did not want to touch them. The first set of boobs I ever didn't want to touch, and I was just like, I just remember looking at them, going, "Oh, that's disgusting." And when I touched them, I was like, "Oh," I said, "They're leathery like a football," and she slapped me and walked away.
Oh.
But
Nice,
I'm with
Tom.
Glenn. I like natural. But I'm more of a natural body person. But we live in a society, basically, especially when you look back to what we were just talking about with reality TV, what's acceptable. Well, this person's famous, and this is what they look like. J-Lo's got a big butt. I want a big butt.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian's got a big butt. I want a big butt. And it falls into all these categories where it's acceptable because it's been pushed into our faces like any other social media or media interpretation of anything. Okay, now everybody has to have big lips. You remember a few years ago when all these girls were having all these damages because they were sucking their lips into like a glass bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And it was I don't remember what the procedure was, but it was like destroying their lips, and then they pull it out. They literally would stick their lips into this bottle or something like that. I don't remember, but they pull it out, and this was super popular like 3 or 4 years ago, and they'd pop it out, and their lips would be giant and like swollen.
Yeah.
Basically, they were swollen.
Yeah,
You break the bust the capillaries or whatever, so it looks like it's puffy and whatever. Kind of along the lines of pinching versus using rouge or whatever.
Yeah.
Pinch your cheeks instead of using get a natural red.
And in the last 5 to 7 years, bigger lips are like a thing. That's when collagen injections first started, was going into the lips, of puffy lips.
Yep.
So it's just like, okay, well, at one point people were going, that's disgusting, and now people are like, oh, look at your tiny little lips. You need to get it. You need to get this. You need to get that.
Yep.
Because now reality TV and everywhere they took every model you look at, every photoshopped image of a person on a magazine or anything like that, they all have these set things now, so they're becoming acceptable. And I think that's how they get so inundated into our cultures, because even if it's weird or rude or whatever, however we depict it, if it gets shoved into our face enough, all of a sudden that's the norm.
Yeah, advertising, that was a big one that I wanted to play off of too here was you mentioned that you hit there right there, the coined term, photoshopped. People do not realize how many of the images that we see are not real. They are not attainable.
About 99.9% of an image you see that
is making money, is for the purpose of making money, is not real.
If it's a poster, a billboard, a magazine cover,
and
a photo shoot, they've all been
the one
that
that kills me the most is if you get bored out there, Google before after model pictures or something like that, and there's a lot of photographers and image post processing people who will show you images or even videos of the before and after of a model that a photographer shot in a professional studio, like you would see in a magazine, and show you how she started and show you the finished product. They can make a girl have amazing hips. They can completely redesign her butt. They can make her have boobs. They can slim her waist. They can make her skin perfect. They can make it look real. They can make it look fake. They can do anything. You can change the color of her eyes. You can make her hair wavier, bigger, everything.
They can put her on a UFO with Bill Cosby, whatever they want to do.
Nice. Is that where Cosby went?
I don't know.
It's all completely manipulatable, and nobody cares as far as the advertisers go. They are, as long as you are looking and you are buying, they want you looking at it. Especially when they're marketing to women.
Absorb this product.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it doesn't matter how they get to you. They want you to want to look like that girl in the cover. And
well, look at the cosmetic industry. That's a huge industry, and those are just things that you can buy and apply yourself or whatever. But as time goes on, especially I think with reality TV shows and celebrities that get something, as soon as a celebrity does something, especially if they go public with it, whatever that procedure is going to. It's going to go through the roof, whatever the procedure is. It just seems like that's who we follow, especially in the American and Western culture, is, oh, this actress did this or this whatever did this. So now, half the population thinks they need to do it. Whether it's healthy or not doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
This all plays on our basic need to try to fit into our societies.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable in your own skin.
Right.
And I'm not saying everybody who has some sort of cosmetic surgery is uncomfortable in their own skin, but it seems like, it goes back again. When I was younger, I felt like the weird imperfections of everybody made everybody. That was what was kind of cool about it. Just like as a guy growing up, you get a scar. You're cool. You just got some cool points because you got a scar.
Yeah.
Right.
But nowadays, oh no, I'd have you go in but I mean in the same regard as I've had a bunch of problems with my teeth. I actually busted out the front 4 teeth in my head in an accident when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
So the first, the upper 4 teeth on my face are fake.
Yeah.
And I've had problems with them in and out. Every once in a while something will happen and it'll break or something.
Yep.
I'll go in and $7,000 later to have a tooth.
Yep.
But the few times that I've had in between procedures, like about 12 years ago, one of my front teeth that had been replaced, something happened to it and it actually broke in the gum. So it
damn.
spent about 6 months without a front tooth. And the reactions I got from people, I was in a fight almost every day. And I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" And
Just that little difference will destroy or change your world completely.
So if you think about somebody who's already a little bit insecure, especially somebody who's young, impressionable, and they're or I'm just going to say a girl because most of these procedures are women, and say you've got a girl who's really pretty, but she has small breasts, and her buddy's got these giant breasts, and she gets all the attention.
Yeah,
well,
and
what do you
exactly
think she's
what
going to
happens.
want to do?
Yeah. So and as it becomes more reachable, and these trends change, because there was a time when large breasts weren't necessarily so popular, or being so skinny wasn't necessarily so popular. But as these trends change and it becomes more reachable for people to achieve these things cheaper, basically, so
It's more affordable.
Yeah, it becomes more affordable. Then it becomes easier for people to just go out on a whim and go do these things and feed into that.
Did you know what the number one thing that, and I've read this in several other things, I can't recite the exact source, but I read it through a bunch of other random things, and I've had this conversation before. The number one thing that girls in affluent communities who graduate from high school ask for graduation?
Hold on, what is affluent?
Wealthy.
Oh, wealthy, okay, got it. Sorry.
The number one thing these girls ask for graduation presents.
What's that?
Breast implants.
Really? I was going to say a Land Rover.
Well, car is number 2.
Cars.
But for a lot of girls now when they graduate, you get something, your parents give you something. If you're a wealthy person, breast implants. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, I believe that.
And can you imagine that if you're a dad, to say, okay, my 18-year-old daughter, you have an inferiority complex or something, even though you're still growing, I'm going to go ahead and give you fake breasts.
Are you still growing at 18?
Oh, yeah.
You grow until you're 25. Your bones can grow until you're 25. You can have a growth spurt through your skeletal system up until about 25 years of age. So if you're, say, 5'3", you're really small, at 22 years old, you could shoot up 2-3 inches.
Wow.
Bones, your personality doesn't solidify until after that point anyway. I mean, your brain's still developing.
Yeah.
We are not fully grown until we are late 20s.
Yeah, like late 20s.
That's interesting to think about, because when I was 20, I was dating a girl that got implants at 20, and I thought it was amazing. But at the same time, I guess she wanted them because her mom wanted them. Because her mom had them.
Oh,
her mom had them, so it was much more acceptable, the concept or whatever. And then obviously the guy that she was with, I did not push her into it. I did not promote it at all. But it was, I was like, I wasn't going to talk her out of it. I mean, I thought it was awesome.
You were 20 years old.
Yeah, I was, damn, cut me a break here. But I mean, I thought it was pretty ballsy of her to be down to do this. She did do it. And I thought it was like, holy crap, you're not afraid. I was like, yeah, I'm scared, but I know I really want them. I was like, well, wow, that's all right.
Yeah, and I guess, if your end game is that whatever you're trying to accomplish is way more important to you than the fear of any health circumstances or any repercussions from infections or scarring or anything else. I mean, and most people don't think about that. It's like smoking cigarettes. Yeah. I know. I tell every time I find somebody that I know is smoking cigarettes, at some point I'll just say, "Hey, man, it's bad for you, right?
Yeah, you're killing me, dude.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do or whatever, but you know that's bad.
Yeah.
But people don't care. It's all about right now. I want to look good right now. I want to have a J-Lo butt. I want to have big boobs so I can hang out in my bikini on Venice Beach. I want everybody to pay attention to me. I don't care about the circumstances.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about a few famous people that have gotten big in the YouTube circles and the internet circles, the Instagram circles, There are a couple that you can Google if you're curious. There's the real Ken dolls and the real Barbie dolls.
Oh my goodness, those are
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, the Ken dolls are Rodrigo Alves and Justin Jedlicka, sorry, and the real Barbie, that's the weirdest one. She's Valeria Lukia. Oh gosh,
Yeah, she got really, really popular about 4 or 5 years ago.
Lukyanovana.
Yeah.
Just do Valeria and you'll see her. She really does look like a toy of some sort, but she's also a real weirdo and actually very racist from as I understand. I think she's Ukrainian or something.
I think she is Ukrainian.
Yeah. Anyway, so these people, I mean, obviously, nobody really knows them well enough to see to tell if it's. They're actually the guy Justin Jedlicka. He's been on a couple of documentaries, so you can actually see some real interviews from him and get a feel for what kind of person he is from these interviews, kind of. Valeria, you don't really get anything for, and Rodrigo, I've never seen anything on. I haven't really looked for it, but these guys, a lot of people have said that they branch off of a real problem that some people suffer from, which is literally an addiction to cosmetic procedures. There's people that just cannot stop altering themselves for various reasons, but one of them, it seems to boil down, from what I read, to a what they call a process or behavioral addiction, kind of like reward center type stuff. If I go do this, I get my drop of serotonin or whatever the hell happens in my brain, makes me feel good, so I continue doing this thing. The rat gets the pebble, and it keeps going. Another one is a condition called body dysmorphic disorder, which, quoting what I read on the internet, which is where all the good facts come from, right?
Right.
All truth comes from Facebook and the internet, right?
Google it, bro.
course.
Google it.
Yeah, a mental disorder in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. So I see these people, especially the ones that I mentioned there. They, man, I mean, I think you got to be suffering from some sort of addiction in some fashion. They've got hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in their procedures, everything from fake bicep implants and tricep implants to things to make their face reconstructed so that it looks like a doll, like the little Ken doll, or it's really bizarre
you've
stuff.
also seen a procedure too where they're trying to make their eyes look bigger. And
The girls do that,
yeah.
yeah. Valeria has
Yeah,
that
she
done.
has
Quite a few. There's a lot of girls that are into cosplay heavily and do anime characters, and they try to make their eyes bigger by various either surgeries or other means too, or the iris is larger, and that's getting big not only in cosplaying, which is crazy because cosplay is getting extremely big, which is leading to cosmetic surgeries that may additionally help you. That I know I've seen a few since I brought that up. I've seen a few girls who have done like the tightening of the corsets progressively so that you can actually shrink your torso.
Well, there's a procedure where they remove the lower rib.
And I think that chick Valeria had that done because
I'm pretty sure she
to make
did.
her stomach look
I read a bunch
inverted.
about her a couple of years ago because I was just intrigued by
and
this.
And breatharianism.
Oh,
She believes that she can someday achieve the level of living off of just air and sunshine. You see the chick, and she probably hasn't eaten in a long time, but it really is a weird look, and it's kind of like, damn, I didn't really think a human being could really look like that. That's crazy. Yeah. So there is a real addiction that some people suffer from, as far as which causes them to do this, which I thought was freaking crazy. And like, damn, of all things, I guess you really can be addicted to anything if it gives you that little bit of reward center pleasure and self confidence or whatever.
Some people just really like to get cut.
See, that really could be the pain involved with it, or
well, there are lots of people who, and I have lots of friends who are tattoo artists, and they have lots of clients who really enjoy the process of being tattooed. They enjoy going through the pain.
Yeah. On the other side of the same coin, though, the tattooing stuff can be a real saving grace. I can't think of another word for that. In the case of what we were talking about earlier with the breast cancer patients, they lose their breasts, and the tattooing thing, for those that don't know, there are artists that will do re-tattoo areolas and parts of the nipple, and Glenn informed me before we had started this that there are actually like nipple implants that they can put under the skin too, to like help women feel like that it's as close to back the way they were as possible. I mean, you think about going through that procedure and losing such a important part of your body that holy crap, anything they can do to get you anywhere 90% of the way, 80% of the way there is better than nothing, right? So that's kind of crazy. It's that's really cool that that's available. And I guess, would you guys consider, because some girls will have like eyebrows tattooed on or eyeliner tattooed on. That's cosmetic surgery, right? Too. That's not one of the main procedures, I guess, that they listed here. But
I mean, if you can consider a tattoo cosmetic surgery, then yeah.
Yeah. Well,
puncturing
they are
skin.
considering it. Like
Okay.
if you get I know a little bit about this one too. I have friends who kind of work in those industries, and the tattooing of the eyebrows is getting huge.
it is.
I mean, it is. And I can't. It blows me away because I'm like, well, I think about how most girls I know that 5 years from now have a completely different look or a different style, or you do something and you want to change it or whatever. So this is permanent. So your eyebrows
it's
are
different.
permanent.
It's different. That's the thing. So they do that at my hairstylist, and I was talking to my hairstylist about it because they have a lady that works there that does it, and it doesn't last as long as a normal tattoo. They do something different.
Really?
It's like 5 years or something it lasts or whatever, and they have to be redone. That's their residual income. So why? I think it doesn't go as deep because the skin is too thin there, or they use a different type of ink. There's something that they're doing to create a residual income, so that you do have to go in and get them touched up, essentially.
Wow.
And I think some of them, I can't remember what she was saying.
All tattoos fade over time.
Well, yeah.
True, but some of them will last longer, I think, than they've got this one set so that you're coming like every 1 or 2 years or something. I don't know, so that residuals, man. That's more income.
Right? You can't build a car that runs forever.
No, yeah, there you go, man. Or it's like they got them with the girls with the hair, with dyeing their hair too. And it's like your hair grows out like in a few weeks or month or whatever it is. You got to get them roots done. It's like
Yeah, that's an industry that's
Yeah,
a
that
money machine for sure.
huge industry. Yep, big time. But yeah, so that's there's some cosmetic procedures that are I don't know, you couldn't recall them plastic surgery, but they're definitely there to restore.
Well, it's cosmetic. I mean, because you're choosing to do this.
I guess in that case, I was thinking more back in the area, the breast remove, the areola recreation and the nipple recreation, that kind of stuff.
But that's more plastic surgery for.
I guess
for
that is.
Especially with breast cancer and having a breast, like say it's like the situation my mom was in, they removed one side, and so they went in and did plastic surgery to kind of make her look normal again. And just like anybody who had been in a car accident and maybe had scarred in their face or something. I had a friend in high school. She was in a car crash, a really bad car crash, and it cut her face and neck up extremely bad.
Damn.
And over probably a 10-year period, I think she had close to 100 surgeries.
Holy crap.
Just to look normal again.
That's
and
terrible.
now she's in her early 40s, and she looks fairly normal. She just kind of looks like an older lady, maybe a little older than she normally would have or whatever. But I remember just, all through our 20s, she'd disappear for a while and have surgery or something because they were trying to it had a lot to do with the muscles. A lot of the muscles were torn in her face in the accident.
That's
So
horrible.
to me, I feel like having that industry available to help people
Absolutely
go back to that is fantastic. But this whole jump to I want to have Botox, I want to have implants, I want to have puffy lips, I want a J-Lo butt, I want to have all these things. This is just an extreme. And the people that are addicted to it, that Cindy Jackson woman, she was the woman that was in Guinness Book of World Record for the most amount of plastic surgery of anybody on the planet, and she's just getting ready to get overcome by the guy you were talking about earlier, that Rodriguez guy.
Rodrigo Alves.
Yeah, I guess he's going to be taking that position now.
Wow, I did not see.
So think about that, a guy taking over that position.
He looks really weird too. At least the other
haven't seen
guy,
him.
he's really weird looking. The other guy, Justin, looks a little bit more normal.
What's the first guy's name? The Rodriguez?
Rodrigo Alves.
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo Alves. Yeah. Go really quick too, because I don't. And I was afraid to put too much of a. I wanted to try and actively not put a negative spin on cosmetic surgery because I don't think it's, there are a lot of positives to it. And one of the things that I thought was a really strong positive, while it may not be as drastically positive as reconstructing a breast that you lost or, rebuilding your face after a bad accident or stuff like that, but there is a self-confidence gain that can be had by people having procedures done. And I've known some people that have had a couple and they stopped there and they never needed anything else. It was just that one or two, like your buddy's earlobe thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And some girls, it's I just want bigger boobs and that's it, or I just want to try over again. I want to have, or the one I wanted to put and the reason I want to say this too was because of girls after they have kids. That dude, I imagine that's got to be really really rough for girls that have. They have maybe they have a great body beforehand and childbirth was really rough for them, or they had 2 or 3 kids. Maybe they were fine after the first one, but the third one, and that really sucks. And I've always felt like it's not fair that happens to them. So I've always been very pro non-detrimental levels of cosmetic surgery, because I think that's the girls should have that opportunity if they come up with the money and and they're not too afraid to do it, to put their bodies back in the sense that they feel self-confident again.
They feel comfortable again.
Yeah.
And they feel healthy again.
So it's like that kind of stuff I've always liked, either with the tummy tucks or I don't know what all the procedures there are or whatever, but I've always felt like, dude, our bodies don't change when we have kids as guys.
Yeah.
So we totally got, the better end of, pretty much all around, right? But so we don't have to worry about that, but that can be a big issue with them.
Yeah, and then I think it goes back too, because a lot of women after having kids and stuff, their breasts sag, so
everything starts falling apart for them. It sucks.
And so I can, and to me, I'm again, it goes back to like anything that you can do, I feel, in the plastic direction, because that's something that helps you kind of look more normal again, or help you to feel healthy again. I think that's a healthier way of going about it.
Yeah.
And I can see some people wanting to do a cosmetic thing, like my buddy who was all infatuated with his earlobes, and I was like, I don't get it. It's your earlobes, dude. But I can, but we all can look in the mirror and point out something instantly that we don't like about ourselves.
That's true.
I think the biggest question is how far you take that, or how much pressure you get from media, television, or your peers for those things.
That you put on yourself.
I've known lots of girls. I knew a couple of girls when I was going to school that had really big noses, and people made fun of them because they had big noses. I don't know what happened to those girls later on in life, but I can bet you 2 to 1 that they probably got nose jobs.
Yeah. Or discovered that people with big noses usually sing better.
Right.
Yeah.
But
look at Barbra Streisand.
Exactly. But they're still going to get that peer pressure or that societal pressure to change the way they look. Yeah, I've seen this guy before.
We're looking up this picture of this Rodrigo guy. He's weird looking. Go look him up. He's if I think about it, I'll put the link in there. But I don't really want to promote the dude. So yeah.
But yeah, I agree that there's a lot of especially when you talked about people being in accidents and things like that. But like I said, again, that's a completely different perspective than people who are having cosmetic surgery because they want to look like their favorite singer.
That's absolutely true.
Fixing
that one little thing in you that's bugging you, that's a different story. Yeah, you're right. But if you're trying to copy or stay with a trend, that's really
you want to look like Brad Pitt, so you want to have some sort of facial reconstructive done as a guy or something. Yeah.
Change your hair and stop at that because it changes real quick after the trends change, so you can just get your hair back the different way or whatever.
But I've always been blown away that people who are willing to do, especially if they're willing to do multiple different types of procedures, that has to be maintained. That doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, and I've always wanted to ask some of these people, what do you think is going to happen to that procedure? How do you think that's going to hold up for 25 years?
Yeah. I know implants have to be redone at
all
a
the
certain
time.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the older saline solution bags and all that stuff that leak and all these other things. I don't know. I think we are a culture that is becoming more and more willing to sacrifice our health for vanity. And we've had that, human beings have had that since the beginning of time, but now that there's medical procedures to do it, we're just ramping it up, and we've got reality TV and the media shoving it down our throats too. I would hate to be a young girl in today's world because you're completely inundated with how you look, what you're supposed to weigh. I've got friends that have daughters that tell me horror stories about things they have to deal with to try to keep their daughters just to understand that everybody is different.
Yeah.
It's a rough world that we live in, and this is not making it any easier.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, on that note, we're about out of time here. That was a great way to end that. It's just, try not to let these things bother you guys. I know you're out there. We're all exposed to the same crap. We're all exposed to the same TV and whatever. Keep things in perspective. That stuff isn't real. There's nothing real about reality TV, and that is not how you have to look, act, or be. And we hope you found this. We hope you guys found this interesting. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Show notes and other info can be found at our website, greatdistraction.com. The Great Distraction is listed in iTunes, and we greatly appreciate it when our listeners take the time to look us up and leave us a 5-star rating and review. That helps our show grow and motivates us to continue producing content. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so using the email address, greatdistractionpodcast@gmail.com, or via our website. We're always interested in hearing any thoughts, comments, or questions from our listeners. Keeping up on the latest from us can be done in several different ways. You can add us to your favorite RSS feed tracker. The link is available on our website or in iTunes. Or you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Great Distraction, one word, no space. As always, thank you for listening, and thank you for all the support.